In this video, I'm in beautiful Stockholm, Sweden, giving you a walking tour of the city.
Hello, I'm Phil Ernest, and this is my 71st country, Sweden.
Never lost roamer with Phil Ernest.
Okay, so this is the big old church here. This is the oldest building here in Stockholm. This church is now currently a museum. It'll cost you $6.50 to get in and tour that. These columns right here are really neat. Look at that. Let's go see what it looks like from the other side. There's a big Euro flag right there waving. Nice. This is a better view of it here. A little bit overlooking the water, the bay. And then here's the bay. So, really nice the way they got this set up here. Impressive. Stockholm at its best along the shoreline. Pretty nice the way they set this thing up here. And then this is right where the walking promenade is at, right here. This is one of the neater buildings here along this walkway. Look at that architecture. Looks really neat. Keep your head on a swivel because these bikes come quickly down here. So when you're walking, make sure you don't lose sight of that, because they will run you over if you're not paying attention, looking out for them.
I did this trip in early September, so that's why the weather is ideal. If you're enjoying this video and finding it informative, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to receive more of this informative content, please subscribe to the channel.
Look at this gun here, tied up in knots. Check that out. And after walking on this promenade area for a little bit, you'll come upon this area here. Look at, it's kind of like a big center of entertainment, people hanging out. Okay, so this is a bit of a surprise. At the end of that long promenade, we come across like a farmer's market here, selling luggage, flowers, and then off there in the distance, fruit, vegetables. Here's some nuts. This thing, what are these chips? Look at it, looks like they're, not sure what that is. Oh, mushroom. Colorful mushrooms and some berries. Here's a unique statue. Look at this. Pretty neat to have some water features going on around it, and it's right here in the center of it all. Big old roundabout here. Look at, they got this water feature in the middle here, but the car is zipping around this roundabout. And here's another look at that water feature right here in the busy part of the town. All kinds of transportation. Look, they got a tram, and then they have buses. They also have an underground subway here as well. It's neat right here. Look at, they got this people fishing over here, and you got this what looks like a castle over here with this neat structure, and then all overlooking this area right here. Look at that. Here's a look at that building from the other side, and then you got the river here running through it. Looks really nice. And then look at this big old building here with these huge columns. We get a better shot of it away from this sun that's kind of taken away from the picture of it. And there it is. Look at that. Showing you this pink church right here near the Royal Palace. Pan over here, and here is the Royal Palace. Look at this. Pretty neat. They got the guards over there. You could see them under the little yellow shacks being guarding, and this is the whole center square right here where they're at. Look at that. Really neat detailed architecture here. Another look at the Royal Palace. I'm going to come over here and take a look at these cannons they got here. Look at that. Pretty neat cannons protecting the Royal Palace. So this is the old town part of Stockholm. Walking through here, looking at these little shops with these buildings. Really nice. Makes you feel really small walking in these narrow streets with these huge buildings around you. This little area here, walking through it, reminds me of Barcelona. It's one of the more unique things I've seen. Look, they got a whole wall full of oranges here. And then these are all oranges that they've already discarded and used. Look, pomegranate and a full. Got a little tunnel here going in to another part. Out through in the tunnel and out of the tunnel. And all kinds of neat shops here. Look at this. This is really a must-do if you're in Stockholm. Visit the old town. In this old town, you get a lot of souvenir shops here on these walkways, but it's still kind of neat to see the architecture really more than anything, even if you're not a souvenir shopper, but just to appreciate the layout of how this is all lined up. Look at that. All kinds of... Then they got some shops here to eat at as well. But a lot of souvenir shops. Look at, there's finally a 7-Eleven. First time I've seen that around here. And then just outside of the little alleys here, they have this big square here in Old Town. Look at that. Pretty neat again. Taking in all the architecture. And this is that right here. This picture you're looking at is one of the most photographed ones you'll see when they talk about Stockholm. It's all over a lot of the souvenirs, the bags, handbags, things that they have right there, these buildings. So this is where you want to be for that picture photo op moment. Stockholm, and over here is like a parliament building. It's built in about 1620, this building here. Look at this, pretty neat. Outside of the architecture, the structure of this building. So let me continue my walk. I'm going to the museum right now. I want to see the big museum of the ships, the Viking ships. Got to find my way to it right now. Look at these nice buildings here. People get around these scooters moving pretty quickly. As you look around these big buildings and you walk and you wonder what these things are. They do have maps here. Look at this, showing you in detail what, where you're at, and looking for places that you may want to know about. So it is a tourist-friendly city at that. And here's yet another huge building. Look at these. That's one thing I can say about Stockholm. They got some big, big buildings. They do it large here in Stockholm. They got these artworks out here in the water. These light up really nice at night. Those two little things out there in the water, and then they got gardens. So this is a really nice walking town, Stockholm. Don't sell it short. It's got a lot of charm, a lot of beauty here, and things to see just walking along the way. And right across from the little water port right here, you'll see the big Grand Palace right here. Look at that. They got guards marching on the front of it. They got the two little guard shacks out front. So this is the big palace right here in Stockholm. And there's the Grand Hotel right there. And next to that, over there, along this port, there is the National Museum. So a lot of really neat things to see along this path walking around this city. This is neat. This is their National Theater right here, this big building. And here's some more really neat architecture along this shoreline also. Look at these big buildings. It's kind of neat. Really? They got these great big longboats here, Stockholm sightseeing. You could catch on to one and they'll take you around this river water area here. And there goes the army of Sweden. They piled on that boat and away they go. And this is a closer look at that Grand Hotel, and right now they're currently setting up for the big marathon that'll happen here. It looks like they're gonna have some stage performance or something along that line, but I think this may be the finish line of it. Just thinking about it. More really neat buildings here. This right here is the Nordic Museum, explaining the 500 years of Nordic. And right next to that is where I'm heading, to the ship museum.
You are looking at the Vasa Ship from the front to the side to the back of it. This is a little better view of the back of the ship, and notice all those little sculptures you see up close there. I'll show a little bit more of them in detail later on. But for now, I want to share a little bit of this amazing but tragic story of the Vasa Ship. This ship was constructed in 1628 by the Swedish people to fight in the war against Poland. The ship was constructed by over 400 people, and with a crew of 445 people on board, they sailed off to fight against Poland. Tragically, the ship only sailed 1,000 meters in the Baltic Sea before it tragically sank, and many lives were lost on the ship. The ship was poorly constructed, and that's why it sank. That is the tragic part of the story. The amazing and incredible part of the story happened when it stayed under the Baltic Sea for 333 years before it was fished out in 1961. Amazing because it was under the water for such a long period of time, it preserved the wood and a lot of the things on the ship, thus not having it been damaged had it been out in the open. Once this ship was erected from the Baltic Sea, it was restored and then put in this museum for all to enjoy. Notice the lighting in this museum is intentionally left really low as to not to damage any more of this wood. Also, the museum is kept at a rather cool temperature to preserve the wood as well. And then brought to it, and these are some of this is actually what was in the back of the ship, the sculptures that they had here. Look at these. All the carvings really done right. So the end result, this ship was too wide, too skinny. It was poorly constructed all around, so it never really had a shot to survive and sail for any period of time. This is a closer angle of it. Look at closest shot yet at eye level of all these sculptures that were on this ship. Look at that. Incredible work of detail that went into this. You get the replica right here. Look at, this is what it looked like way back when it was sailing in full motion. With all the masses, the sails up. Look at, with all the guns out. This is what it really looked like before this thing tragically sank and many lives were lost. Looking at the sails up and to the front of it. That's really cool right there with all those little cannons facing out of it and the side. And just to conclude with this replica, look at, this is the front of it. These great big masts, the sails out, and then what it looks like coming in from this angle. It's really eerie here. Look at, they have the skeleton remains of these people that run the ship. Right here, look. Human skull, skeletons, look. Look at that. They even have the names of the people that they dug up, and they just laid out their skeleton remains right there. Wow, coming right off of that ship right there. And I'm gonna go down below there, can walk and see a ground level view looking up at it. And they also have like a second deck that you can walk and see a better view of it from that angle. So I'm gonna do that as well here, as soon as I circle it from this angle. This is kind of neat. They let you come down on the ground level floor and look at it, looking up at it. So this is just a view now from the first bottom ground floor, looking at how huge it is. And then next I'm going to go up to the third floor and get a better eye view of it. Wow, look at this. And this is the front of it from the bottom level looking up here. First floor looking up at this massive ship, Vasa, that sunk in 1628. Let me go up and check it out from the third floor and give you a better view of it, looking down on it. This is the anchor showing you just how incredibly huge these things are. Look at that. Now this is really neat. Right here it shows the different levels of the ship itself and what it looked like inside, what was functioning. It was a 445 men crew that were on this ship. Now here's a third floor look at this incredible ship from this angle. A little bit higher up than I was in the previous two floors. And here's the front view of the Nordic Museum right here. One I showed you earlier, and with a great big old statue at right here. And earlier I was talking about all of the museums here. Check that out. Look all the different museums you could go. Museum of Rex, ABBA Museum, all these museums leading you to. This is the Oscar Church, named after King Oscar II. It was built in 1903. The architecture style is Gothic Revival. The primary religion of the people in Sweden is Lutheran, and so this church is a Lutheran church. As you can see, it is a big church holding the capacity of 1,250 people. This church, with its balcony, stained glass windows, and big, beautiful pipe organ in the back of the church, you wouldn't believe that it is over 120 years old. And here is an up-close look at the altar and high atop up to the ceilings from the back of it all the way to the front. An absolutely gorgeous church. And thus concludes my walking tour of Stockholm. If you'd like to see my other videos on Sweden, please click on the link now. Thank you so much for watching.
Never